Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Nigeria Now on Echo Television, where we keep you updated with the things and the happenings that are happening in Nigeria presently. I am Sarah Elisha Dasha. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. You can do well to, drop your comment and your views on some of the issues we shall be bringing to the table this afternoon. And I'll be doing the program together with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sarah.
All right, we have quite a number of issues we would love to look at this afternoon. And the first is that of insecurity. We know that insecurity from the beginning of there, or you can even take it back to the last quarter of last year down till this year, we've been seeing pockets of attack, kidnapping, abduction, and, quite a number of things. And we would love to, take a look at what the security agency are saying about this. We're seeing that they have declared that there is going to be battle. They are not backing down on the issue of insecurity. And I love the energy, Rachel. I love the way our security agencies are coming out to say, you know what, we are sick and tired of these kidnappers thinking that they can actually have a swell day. And we've seen that a number of Nigerians have come out to tell, the army chiefs, the chief of staffs and all of that, you know what, we're just tired of what you people are doing. And it seems as if maybe some of the measures you are taking are not proactive measures. Maybe you're actually treating this kidnappers with a baby finger. You're trying to, take them little steps, and no wonder they're beginning to gain grounds in the country. And we think it's high time you do something about it. We remember that of the kidnapping that is actually presently in Abuja, where we saw one of the 6 sisters, Nabiha, was killed. And even though the rest have been rescued, but then it's still going on, talking about the issue of kidnapping, abduction. We're seeing that even recently 2 monarchs were being killed in Ekiti. And even though there were 3, but one managed to escape, and that was when he was able to tell the story of what actually happened. So quite a number of issues. I know Nigerians love it when they hear security agencies saying that, you know what, we are declaring war. But then it's one thing for you to say you're declaring war. It's another thing for Nigerians to be able to see that, you know what, you're actually doing something. We saw where the US and Nigeria is signing a memorandum of understanding on training some of our police agency. We're seeing that even retired army chiefs are coming out to say, you know what, we need to take a different measure altogether. I listened to an interview, and then recently one of the former army chief was saying that since back when you're going to take it back to 2015, there were intelligence reports that were being submitted. There were solutions on how to handle the issue of this banditry while it was still, starting. But then it seems as if we're having our leaders, our governors, actually not having the willpower. Now the question will be, is it about the willpower, Richard, or is it that this issue of this kidnapping and insecurity have been politicized? Because it looks as if it's more of politics than it is even of religion. Backwards then, when you hear attack maybe in the north, it will be okay, it's a religious fight. But it's taking a different shape altogether right now. And then we're seeing our security agency saying that, you know what, we are not going to give those people rest, we're going to clear them. And I'm happy when they say this, but then I know Nigerians need something more than just words of mouth to actually hold on to.
I mean, Sele, how many times have we been happy hearing such statements from the government? And after such, how many times have we had uncountable numbers and series of attacks going on in the country? Now, without this memorandum of understanding to train police commanders by the U.S. for years, for years, and be it the DSS, Army, Navy, Air Force, police, name every military, paramilitary outfit we have in Nigeria, they go abroad to study. Even prisons go abroad for courses and training. Customs, we can mention it. There is no one agency that has to do with dealing with the lives, property, security of the country that don't go out to train and learn from the best internationally. Germany, Russia, US, just name all those countries that we know have been doing well when it comes to security in the past. We've had our security personnel and officers going out for training, and still yet you tell me that these well-intelligent, well-trained men and women of the police, the military, are below bandits and herdsmen and unknown gunmen.
Which of they have faces, Richard.
I
We'll
mean,
stop
Sarah,
calling them unknown.
we have to keep going with the name the government chooses because
too
they
much.
have refused
True.
to identify them. So, of course, let's play the game together. You know, let's play the dumb game together that we don't know these people and let's just flow like that. And then you sit down and then the question is, the factors are plenty in play, Sarah. Is there underfunding? Yes, there is. But I feel it's the little compared to politics.
Very true.
And
the least of the
business
problems.
is the least of the problem. When it comes to politics, when it comes to religion, when it comes to nepotism, and when it comes to business. Because there is someone somewhere cashing out with the insecurity.
Very
There's
true.
an arms dealer somewhere that is cashing out, that is making billions and billions of naira with what is going on in Nigeria. And there's somebody that this gives the person more political ground and therefore let it go. Yes, there's someone somewhere that feels it's not my tribesmen, so I don't have to speak and do the needful, be it in whatever level or system or government, even when it comes to the people that are saddled with the responsibility of protecting us. So, in as much as it might sound exciting, all I keep seeing is reactive measures coming even from the military. It's after they've been kidnapped. Yeah. Why can't we just have a situation where there's no kidnapping at all? Where there's no attack in Mangu, where there's no attack in Bokos, where there's nobody being kidnapped on the highway? Those are the kind of measures that we need to see being taken from the government. If not, it will just be empty hope, and then we are rooting for the government of Nigeria regardless, because it's all about all of us. When these disasters happen, it doesn't choose house. Nobody has APC on the roof of their house. Nobody has PDP on the roof of their house. Nobody has Labour Party on the roof of their house. So when this thing comes, it doesn't select anybody. It wipes everybody out. And that is what we need to understand. That when things are not going wrong, are not going right, nobody is safe. And we just hope and pray. So our prayer is for the government of Nigeria, because I keep saying there's little or less you and I can do. The best you and I are doing right now is calling the government to book every day. But we don't have the power to create the military. We don't have the power to fund the military. We don't have the resources to give information. We don't have all of that. So there's little or nothing you and I, the common men and women in Nigeria, can do. It's still left to the government of Nigeria, because they are the one with the responsibility, not only the responsibility, but the resources and whatever it takes to do to make the country better. So we'll not stop overemphasizing on the fact that we need our government to stop being reactive and do the needful when it comes to insecurity.
You know, Richard, while you were talking about the fact that somebody somewhere is cashing out, I just couldn't help but cast my mind back to, I remember clearly when the UAE gave us a list of over 400 people who were actually financing the issue of terrorism. Until date, Rachel, you made mention of faceless or whatever we call these bandits, because I believe they have a face. So however the government, just like you said, let's just play the dumb game that we all don't know who they are. But I refuse to agree that we do not know, because if there were names that were being given to the government of Nigeria saying, you know what, these are the people that are behind this. We've heard Falana, we've heard a number of people coming out to say, you know what, a former governor, a former GS, a former this. A number of people were coming out to say former this and former that is actually part of the people that are. And then yet we're seeing that the government have refused to bring these people to book. In fact, we've not heard anything. When Nigerians were saying, you know what, we want these people to be persecuted publicly, the government said, no, we want to persecute these people secretly. And I said, what are you protecting? Who are you protecting? Because the way things are moving is more like, I mean, we are just pampering these terrorists, and then we are not treating them for the criminals that they are. And you know, a number of people have come out to say, you know what, it's high time the government of Nigeria take a very drastic measure, and that is to take the bull by the horn. Maybe when we have one of these leaders of this Boko Haram or kidnapper, maybe if one is being used as a scapegoat to the rest, I believe the rest of them will actually take measures. I mean, we've seen where a number of people are saying, I remember when the US said we should take good advantage of the AI, talking about how we can actually have all of this artificial intelligence in a way that we could track these people down,
Yes.
know where they are coming out from, where they are going back to, and a number of things that we can actually do. I remember when the governor of Borno State was talking about us hiring foreign mercenaries, come help us in the country. And I remember the former president Buhari was saying that no, we could
Yeah.
tackle them. Of course we can tackle them,
can.
but what are we doing about that? I will talk about the number of Boko Haram who have even gone to the IDP camps to actually threaten the people, places where these people who have been chased from their ancestral ground have actually said, okay, let us stay here for the meantime. But they are still followed to that
Yeah.
place. And it pains my heart, Isha, okay, if you're having a beef, why do we have the innocent people in the right area paying the price for somebody somewhere? So I'm just hoping that our government will actually deal with these criminals for who they are.
Yeah.
They are not friends to Nigeria, so we should not treat them like friends.
Of
I
course
mean,
not.
enough of all this thing, we come up with something like taking them for rehab. I don't think these people need a rehabilitation.
And even when you rehabilitate them, why are you putting them back into the
The
army?
system
Why are you
again.
putting them back into the system? That is a recipe for disaster, Sele.
Of course,
oh,
because it's more like them having an inside information. No wonder each
Exactly.
time we have our security men going out there, they always do not record so much success. Why? Because
True.
somebody have actually tipped out an information to these people. You know what? We are coming. No wonder we've been losing soldiers, army, air force,
Yeah.
just in the process of saying, okay, let's go rescue this. So I hope that the government actually will take a very, very drastic measure when it comes to protecting life and properties of Nigeria. Now, still talking about security, we're saying that INEC will be having a by-election by Saturday, which is February 3rd, in about 26 states. That we have over 4-point-something million Nigerians that are actually going to be
4.6
participating.
thereabout.
4.6, thank you so much, Richard, that will be participating during the by-election. And of course, I believe Nigerians have this attitude of, oh, well, whoever is going to be is going to be. But I think that shouldn't be the spirit, because you know what? You own an obligation to your country to actually come out and actually exercise your duty. This is not about a choice, whether I want to or not. It's
not,
a
yeah,
duty
it is a
for
duty.
you as a Nigerian to actually go out there. But here we're saying INEC is calling on, the Air Force to actually help them, because, one thing that's very important when it comes to election is talking about security and also logistics. Right now, I say INEC is trying to ship materials from the CBN
Yeah.
down to wherever they are supposed to do. But then what is going to be so peculiar about this election? Of course, I know Nigerians cannot help but cast their mind to what happened in 2023 election. We saw how it was being marred by a number of irregularities, a number of carelessness coming from INEC, and then a number of Nigerians have even called that, you know what, INEC is supposed to be standing before the court to give us reasons and answers why they did what they did.
Yes.
But then that is on one side, maybe hopefully they will be called to book eventually. But then now looking at the fact that this is another election, and it's very, very serious, because this is either going to make or mere a number of states, whether we like it or not. It either make or break a number of states, as
Yeah.
we're talking about, because we are talking about senators, we're talking about our lawmakers, both at the federal and the state level.
Yeah.
So this is a very, very dicey situation, if you ask me, Rachel. And I believe that INEC should give their A game when it comes to conducting this election, because it's not so much of it, of a duty, or they will talk about the fact that responsibility is too much for them. No. But I believe, I'm hoping to see INEC giving their all when it comes to this present election coming on Saturday.
For sure, when it comes to this election, there's going to be a lot of voter apathy. It's not a prediction, it's just out there. We are going to see that, because the presidential election for 2023, the turnout was massive. As with that also, it wasn't even up to the number of the registered voters in
of
Nigeria.
course.
It wasn't even up to half of the registered voters in Nigeria. And then coming down to the gubernatorial elections, we saw the same, the numbers decrease. And now, having in mind the fact that these elections are elections that have already taken place, and we are redoing it again, and the voter apathy is going to be worse than the previous one. But what I want from INEC and from every other electorate is for it to be smooth and simple, Sele. It's supposed to be simple. It's not supposed to be chaotic. It's not supposed to be it's not supposed to have this kind of tension.
But we always
Like
have this do or die
exactly,
thing.
it's not supposed to have the kinds of tension that comes with
Election.
general polls, the presidential or the governorship election. It shouldn't come with that. It's one of those that should be smooth and easy. You who want a candidate to be in power, go out massively and vote. For some, it's a situation where the court, at the appeal court level, at the state, taking this power back. Now you have the opportunity again to prove that this is who we wanted. If not for the appeal court doing otherwise to us, we wouldn't even be in this position in the first place. I believe that is also the case on the plateau as it is now. So I'm just looking forward to party members, party people, be it whether you are registered or not, or you know you have a candidate. Let's go out and vote and let it be smooth, simple and easy, without any tension, without any, let's just go out and this is the time to prove that, you know what, this was who we went for at the beginning, and
we still
stand like that, and then we move. And of course, victory at the end. We keep saying it, that regardless of what party wins, even if an election is free and fair, or when an election is free and fair, your candidate don't necessarily have to match the winner. If he doesn't, it doesn't make the election any less credible. No, it's just politics, it's how it goes, and then you accept it, and then we move. At this time, I just hope everybody is tired.
Very
why
tired.
I'm hoping everybody is tired is so that we'll just accept the result and move. Let governance take place.
Rachel, do you know the only way Nigerians can accept, will I say, any result coming from INEC is when they are sure that an election was credible. If you remember what happened during the gubernatorial election and the promises that INEC gave to Nigerians, that, you know what, we are going to be displaying this result electronically. That is to say that nobody can tamper with the result. Nobody can actually have any say. It is what you actually go down to the polls to actually, you know, vote that you will. I mean, we saw when Nigerians will stay there until every paper is being counted right before their very eye. But then we saw the reverse was the case. What was being uploaded to the IREF was totally different from what Nigerians, and no wonder we saw the likes of Dino Milai was actually saying that no, that cannot continue. He said the coalition cannot continue. Why? Because this is not what INEC promised. So what we saw, just like you said, if not for the appeal court, which is one of the reasons, even we know for other states, maybe one of the members is dead, or somebody has actually deported to, or actually decamped to another party, and all of some other reasons such as that. But then one of the real reasons which you mentioned, like one of the case study of Plateau which we have, was because of the court. And I'm looking forward to where the court will not interfere in this anymore. So the only way Nigerians can actually say, you know what, we accept this result, is when they are sure that INEC or whoever it is did not tamper. Because eventually, if it's not right, the blame always go back to INEC, because we say, we actually trusted you. This is supposed to be free. This is supposed to be a fair thing. But then we're saying that, I mean, this is not what the case is. So just like you rightly mentioned, we hope that we'll be patriotic citizens of Nigeria first. It's not about your party, but it should be about the candidate first and foremost. Are you sure that this person can deliver? Regardless of whether we're from the same tribe, we're from the same religion, but are you sure that when you give this person your mandate, because, you know, Rachel, when you go out there and you vote and you're sure that you did your part, if the person is not doing well, you have the right to talk. You have the right to call the person back and say, you know what, you're not doing what we want you to do. So we hope to see INEC playing their own part, and we hope to see Nigerians playing their own part as well. Now, we'd like to round it up by looking at the inauguration, which will be having the federal government inaugurating the minimum wage committee. We remember the president last year promised that starting from the second quarter of 2024, we'll be having the approval of talking about the new minimum wage. We remember, because of the removal of the fuel subsidy, it was supposed to be shifted to like 35,000 for the main time, while this committee will look into it. And we're saying that this is a committee of about 37 members. So we are hoping that, you know, this committee will see, after this inauguration, they will do their job. I know that TUC, NUC are not ready to receive any excuse. Labour will not hear that. this committee did not do their job, because really, Rachel, there's hunger in the land. You need to take a survey, go around, talk to people. You know that people are going through a lot, because even what they work for cannot cover up for what they actually have to meet. People have a number of demands, and then we're just hoping that with this committee, they'll come up with something more reasonable. Because, Rachel, believe you me, the way things are in Nigeria presently, even if you are earning 200,000 or even 500,000, depending on which zone in Nigeria you are living, it will not cover for a number of things. So we hope that this committee will do their best. We hope that they will be selected carefully, and we believe that both the trade union and the Nigerian Labour Congress will not be angry eventually, because we know the threat always is we're going on strike because our minimum wage is not being paid and all of that. But I think as across, let us see what this committee will come up with regarding the minimum wage.
You know, Stella, what I love the most about this committee, which of course if it had been anything less than that, it wouldn't have been balanced, is that the president made sure that it's tripartite, that there are three parties represented, and we have that's at the executive level, we have ministers, Minister Wale Odun of finance, and we have Bagudu, and the rest of them from ministers. Now at the executive level, then we also have state government representative for North Central and all of that, and then we also have down to the NUC, the
Nigerian
Labour, and then we also saw NECA and other associate organizations that are for employment, labor in the country being represented in this committee. Now, what is that there will be a meeting point, you know. From the ministry level, we know that they are dealing with the parastatals, all the parastatals that are under the ministry, even down to the state level. And then now we can look at the state governors. We will have to come to a point where, you know, this is what your state can give, because we also have, and then labor will also sit down and say, you know what, this is what is due for our labor in this country. And I just hope that they come to a meeting point where we will have a minimum wage. I know, right, labor might be in the position where we saw some of the memorandums they gave to the government when there was the threat of strike and all of that. 150,000 minimum wage, 200,000, it was at that point. Now, so like, even if the minimum wage in Nigeria is 300,000, we are still going to be poor. Looking at the free fall of the naira as it is now.
That's a question.
As it is now, regardless. However, we also have to come to the point to understand that it's not just at the federal government level. We're looking at the state government level, where some states struggled with 30,000. And we also have to put a minimum wage that they must be able to stay. Exactly. So I'm just looking forward to the outcome of this committee, that regardless of how ambitious labor might be, they will come to understanding, a ground where, you know what, okay, state government can deliver, the federal government can deliver, and then labor, NECA, and every other civil organization involved in this committee will also feel their needs have been met.
Well, Richard, just like you said, already the committee has been carefully selected, and I believe that they really know what they should do. They already know the assignments that are told to them. So just like you made mention, well, let us see what they will come up with eventually. We believe that labor will not be so greedy, neither do we believe that the minister will also be able to say, you know what, this is what we'll do. But I believe that, Rachel, regardless of how much the minimum wage is, I just hope that our governors, just like you said, will be able to pay. And let us always remember not to leave the local government out of this, because I know I've said that till date, local government are still on 18,000 minimum wage. Rachel, you and I know 18,000 cannot even take you down to 2 weeks.
That's barely $20, and we're dealing with
can you imagine, Rachel, because you mentioned of how much the naira is today. We're talking about over 1,400 and something to $1. So how much? So I just hope, just like you rightly mentioned, Richard, the fact that, you know what, let us see what they will come up with. And I believe that eventually, maybe we can all smile back to the banks getting our money after the federal government have actually played their own role. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for doing this.
You're welcome, Celine.
And thank you also to our viewers for keeping the date with us on Nigeria Now. Do have a blessed day ahead. Bye.